So my presentation today is about Tibet. Tibet's a country close to China, and it's about Tibet's role and the United States role during the Cold War against China. So my title is Tibet, the Secret War on the Rooftop of the World. So my main question was, when, if ever, is it justified for the United States to intervene in a foreign conflict? And this picture is of the Maine when it got blown up before the Spanish-American War, and this is a newspaper from World War I. So my question was the CIA's backing of the Tibetan resistance against China during the Cold War justified? And here we've got pictures of soldiers who are from Tibet being trained by the CIA, and CIA is Central Intelligence Agency. So Tibet, like I said before, is a country that borders China, and Nepal here, and Bhutan here, and India down toward the bottom. These are Tibetan people. So Tibet kind of has its own culture that's different from China. So the people living in Tibet tried to be independent for a long time, and that started in between 1913 and 1949. Tibet declared itself an independent country and enjoyed de facto independence from China. I think de facto means like in fact. 1949, Mao, who was a really famous Chinese guy who was a communist, from 1945 to 1976, just wanted to keep Tibet as part of China, and that was where the big conflict occurred in during these years. That's a picture of Mao. Oh, and this is a picture of to celebrate Tibet's independence, which is on February 13th. That's the day after my birthday. So in the 1950s, Tibetan people violently resisted Chinese rule, conducting some successful raids and battles against the Chinese military. So they, fought to be independent. And why did the U.S. get involved? The U.S. did not want Tibet to become part of a communist China, which was one of America's Cold War enemies, Russia. The U.S. also wanted to prevent human rights abuses against the Tibetan people. There's a picture of a Tibetan person getting abused by Chinese soldiers. So the CIA, which is the Central Intelligence Agency, it's kind of like the spy agency for the U.S., sort of like that old guy James Bond, except during the Cold War. Starting in 1957, the Central Intelligence Agency secretly trained and supplied Tibetan fighters. So here's a picture of Tibetan fighters with guns that they got from the CIA, and this is CIA training Tibetan pilots to actually fly planes, maybe to fight the Chinese so they can be independent. Even though the CIA supported the Tibetans, the war against the much larger Chinese military was very difficult. After 15 years of fighting, the CIA Tibet operation was shut down, and the Tibetan resistance ended in 1974. The Dalai Lama, he's a really famous guy. He was forced to flee. He's kind of seen as the sort of the religious leader of Tibet, and this is the base where they were training the people in Tibet, the Nepalese, from fighting. It got closed in 1974.